If you are over 60 and you have ever walked past the gate desk in an airport without stopping, there is a very strong chance you walked past a free upgrade you did not know was sitting there waiting for you. I am Maria. I was a gate agent for 19 years. And in this video, I am going to give you the exact question to ask, the exact moment to ask it, and the exact words that separate the passengers who fly in the front of the plane from the passengers who never knew they could. Drop a comment below right now with your age and the last airline you flew, because what you are about to learn could change the very next seat you sit in. Most senior travelers assume upgrades are a lottery. You either have the points or you don't. You either have the status or you don't. You either got lucky or you didn't. That assumption is exactly what the airline industry is counting on, because every passenger who boards quietly and accepts whatever seat they were assigned is a passenger who will never discover that the gate desk, in the final 40 minutes before boarding, operates by an entirely different set of rules than the booking system that assigned your seat. Here is what the airline industry does not announce over the PA system. In the last 40 minutes before a domestic flight closes, gate agents have discretionary authority over a specific pool of unsold premium seats. Those seats do not disappear when the flight boards. They do not automatically upgrade elite members and then lock. There is a window, a specific, documented, entirely legal window, where a gate agent can reassign those seats at no charge, at their own discretion, to passengers who ask correctly. Not passengers who demand, not passengers who complain, passengers who ask one specific question at the right time in the right way. I processed thousands of flights during my 19 years at the gate. I issued hundreds of complimentary upgrades during that window. I can tell you with complete certainty, the passengers who received those upgrades were not the ones with the most miles. I want to tell you about a passenger named Dorothy. She was 74 years old, a retired music teacher from Wisconsin, meticulous and kind. Dorothy flew twice a year to visit her son in Phoenix. Every single trip, she boarded in economy, sat in the middle seat she had been assigned, and made the best of it. What Dorothy did not know was that on 11 of those flights, there were unsold business or first-class seats that a gate agent could have reassigned to her at no cost, if she had asked. She had been sitting in 22B when 4A was sitting empty. Nobody was going to tell her. The seat was working exactly as designed. Dorothy's story is not unusual. It is the norm. And the reason it keeps happening to senior travelers specifically comes down to three things the industry understands very well. First, travelers over 60 are statistically more likely to accept their assigned seat without question. They confirmed a booking, they printed a boarding pass, and they treat that document as final. Gate agents see this hundreds of times per shift. A passenger who approaches the desk confidently and asks an informed question stands out immediately, in the best possible way. Second, the discretionary upgrade window was designed for operational efficiency, not passenger satisfaction. When a premium cabin flies with empty seats and economy is full, the airline's internal metrics look worse, not better. An agent who fills those seats, even at no charge, is technically improving the flight's performance numbers. Your upgrade request is not an inconvenience to the agent. In many cases, it solves a problem for them. Third, and this is the one that took me years at the gate to fully understand, most passengers who want an upgrade ask for it the wrong way. They say, "Is there any way to get upgraded?" which signals desperation. They say, "I have a lot of miles," which signals entitlement. They say, "The flight looks pretty empty up front," which signals that they have been looking at the wrong information. None of these framings give the agent a professional pathway to say yes. The one question I am about to give you does. Before I go further, hit that like button right now if you have ever wondered whether the person in the seat next to you paid less or nothing for a much better seat. It helps us reach more senior travelers who need this information. And subscribe, because I share these tactics every single week. Here is the core principle before we get into the exact scripts. Gate agents are not salespeople, and they are not customer service representatives in the traditional sense. They are operational staff with real-time authority over a moving situation. In the final boarding window, their job is to close the flight cleanly, efficiently, and without complaints. A passenger who reduces their operational friction, who is calm, brief, and asks in a way that makes yes the easiest answer, is a passenger who gets helped first. Your interest and the gate agent's interest are aligned in this window. That is rare in this industry. The question I'm about to give you is designed to activate exactly that alignment. The one question is there anything available up front that I could move into before you close the door? Not, can I have an upgrade, which puts the agent in the position of granting a favor. Not, are there empty seats in first class, which signals you have been scanning the aircraft map. Not, I would really love to sit up front, which is a wish, not a question. Just, is there anything available up front that I could move into before you close the door? It is operational in its framing. It references the closing of the door, which is the agent's actual deadline and their actual pressure point. It asks for availability, not generosity. And it gives the agent complete control over the answer, without making them feel like they are being maneuvered. Now I am going to give you the exact word-for-word approaches to use in 7 specific situations. Each one is tested. Each one works when the conditions are right. Use this when you arrive at the gate at least 30 minutes before boarding and the gate agent is not actively processing a problem. Before boarding starts, I just want to ask, is there anything available up front that I could move into before you close the door? I am happy to be flexible on exactly which seat. The phrase happy to be flexible is doing specific work here. It tells the agent you are not going to create a secondary negotiation about window versus aisle. You are asking for the category, not the specific seat. That removes the main reason agents hesitate to offer upgrades informally. They do not want to open a discussion they cannot control. When you remove that friction in advance, the answer yes becomes simple and fast. A 71-year-old retired librarian named Carolyn from Tennessee had flown the same domestic route to visit her grandchildren 14 times. She had never once asked about an upgrade. On her 15th trip, she arrived at the gate 35 minutes early, waited for a quiet moment, and said almost exactly these words to the gate agent. The agent looked at her screen for 4 seconds, printed a new boarding pass, and handed it to Carolyn without another word. Carolyn sat in seat 2C. She had been assigned seat 27E. The interaction had taken less than 30 seconds. Use this when you have any frequent flyer status with the airline, even the lowest tier, and you are checking in at the gate counter. Say this: I have airline name status on my account. I know I am not in an upgrade queue officially. I just want to make sure you have visibility on my account before you close, in case anything opens up. Here is what most travelers with low or mid-tier status do not know. Gate agents can manually flag a reservation for consideration during the final boarding window. They cannot override elite priority lists, but they can note an account, and when they are scanning for discretionary moves in the last 10 minutes before door close, a noted account comes up faster than an unnoted one. You are not asking for a favor. You are making sure you are visible in a system that moves fast. A 68-year-old retired nurse named Patricia from Georgia had silver status on her primary airline. She had earned it through years of travel and had used exactly none of the gate-level benefits because she did not know they existed at the discretionary level. When she used this script at her next departure, the agent flagged her reservation. 7 minutes before the door closed, the agent called her name over the PA. Patricia walked onto the jet bridge with a new boarding pass for seat 3A. She sent her daughter a photo from the seat before takeoff. Use this when you are traveling with a companion, a spouse, a friend, an adult child, and you are both on the same reservation. Say this: "We are traveling together on the same reservation. If there happen to be 2 seats available up front before you close, we would love to move. If there is only one, we would rather stay together where we are." This script works for a reason most passengers would never anticipate. Gate agents who want to offer a complimentary upgrade to a pair of passengers face one specific obstacle. What if only one seat is available? Offering it creates a problem. One passenger is happy, one is not, and the agent now owns that outcome. When you preemptively solve that problem by saying, "If there is only one, we stay together," you eliminate the agent's hesitation entirely. You have done the math for them. The answer yes costs them nothing and creates goodwill. The answer no requires no explanation. A 73-year-old retired pharmacist named Beverly from North Carolina traveled twice a year with her husband to visit family. They have been assigned middle seats in separate rows on a heavily booked evening flight. Beverly approached the gate, used this script, and the agent, who had 2 adjacent seats in the premium cabin and no other takers, moved them both forward without a moment's hesitation. Beverly's husband did not know she had asked until the agent printed the new boarding passes. He thought it was luck. It was not luck. It was 31 words. Use this when the flight is delayed and you have been waiting at the gate for more than 30 minutes. I completely understand delays happen. I am not frustrated at all. I just want to check whether the delay has opened up any flexibility up front that was not there before. Delays restructure the aircraft in ways passengers almost never see. Passengers who are holding premium seats sometimes rebook on other flights. Operational changes occasionally shift equipment, which changes seat counts. And gate agents dealing with a delayed, frustrated gate area are acutely aware of which passengers are being gracious about it. The phrase, "I am not frustrated at all," is not flattery. It is a factual statement that costs you nothing and signals to the agent that helping you will not be complicated. A 76-year-old retired teacher named Margaret from Ohio sat at a gate for 55 minutes during a weather delay on an afternoon flight to Florida. She was calm, she had a book, and she was genuinely fine. When she walked up during a quiet moment and used this script, the gate agent, who had spent the previous 40 minutes managing passenger complaints, looked at her account, looked at the aircraft, and said, "Actually, yes." Margaret flew to Florida in a seat that reclined fully flat. She described it as the best nap she had taken in years. Use this when you are at the gate and you notice the boarding area is sparse. Clearly not a full flight. "I can see the flight looks fairly light today. Is there a chance the cabin up front is going to close with some empty seats? I would love to move forward if it makes sense operationally." The phrase, "if it makes sense operationally," is the key. You are not asking for a gift. You are offering to help the agent solve an operational optics problem. An aircraft that boards with an empty premium cabin and a packed economy section is not a good look internally. When you frame your request as something that might make sense operationally, you give the agent a professional justification for a yes answer that goes beyond just being nice to a passenger. A 69-year-old retired accountant named Frances from Virginia noticed at her gate that fewer than 30 people were waiting to board a flight with 86 seats. She used this script with the gate agent 7 minutes before boarding began. The agent smiled, checked the screen, and said the front cabin was going to close with 5 empty seats. Frances was moved to seat 1B. She had been assigned 19F. Use this when you have a connecting flight and a tight layover, and you are worried about making it. I have a Bax-Minute connection in city, and I want to make sure I give myself the best chance of making it. Is there a seat closer to the front of the aircraft available that would help me deplane faster? This script approaches the upgrade from a completely different angle, not as a luxury request, but as a practical need. Seats in rows 1 through 6 deplane in a fraction of the time of seats in rows 20 through 30. If your connection is genuinely tight, sitting at the front of the aircraft is a legitimate operational request, not a comfort preference. Gate agents are trained to help passengers make connections. This script activates that training directly. A 72-year-old retired social worker named Evelyn from Arizona had a 50-minute connection between two flights, both on the same carrier. She had been assigned seat 28C on the first leg. She used this script at the gate and explained her connection honestly. The agent moved her to row 4, which put her off the aircraft 11 minutes faster than her original seat. Evelyn made her connection with 8 minutes to spare. She said afterward that she had almost not asked because she felt like it was too much to ask. It was not too much. It was exactly the right thing to ask. Use this when none of the above apply, and you are simply a senior traveler who would genuinely appreciate a more comfortable seat. I want to be straightforward with you. I am a senior traveler, and the long flight is genuinely hard on my back. I am not asking for anything I am not entitled to. I just want to know honestly whether there is any flexibility up front before you close the door today. I know this one feels vulnerable. It feels like admitting a limitation. I want you to reframe it completely. In 19 years at the gate, I never once saw a gate agent dismiss a senior traveler who asked this way. What I saw, consistently, was agents who had the authority to help and were looking for a reason to use it. A genuine, honest, human request from a senior traveler who is not complaining, just asking, is the easiest interaction in a gate agent's shift. And the easiest interaction gets the most help. A 78-year-old retired postal worker named Ruth from Missouri had chronic lower back pain that made long flights in standard economy seats genuinely painful. She had never asked for anything at the gate because she did not want to be a burden. When she used this script, the gate agent did not hesitate. She was moved to seat 3D, an aisle seat with 12 inches of additional legroom at no charge. Ruth said it was the first flight in 3 years that she had not spent the final hours shifting painfully in her seat. The seat had been empty. It had been empty every time. I want to be honest with you. These scripts work the majority of the time when the conditions are right. They do not work on full flights. They do not work when the premium cabin has been entirely pre-assigned. They do not override elite upgrade lists. Here is what to do when the answer is no. Step 1. Accept the no gracefully and immediately. Do not negotiate. Do not explain further. Do not look disappointed. Say completely and walk away. Gate agents remember the passengers who handle a no well, and on a delay, a gate change, or any operational disruption in the next 20 minutes, those passengers get helped first. Step 2. If you travel this route or this airline regularly, call the airline's customer relations line the following morning and describe your experience, not as a complaint, but as a question. Say, I tried to request a seat move at the gate yesterday, and it was not possible. Is there a program or a pre-request process that would make that more likely on future flights? That question almost always produces a specific, actionable answer, and frequently results in an agent adding a preference note to your account that makes future gate agents more likely to proactively offer availability. A 67-year-old retired teacher named Helen from Florida had been told no twice in a row on the same route. She called customer relations the morning after the second no and asked this question. The agent she spoke with noted a seat comfort preference on her account, enrolled her in an unpublished accessibility accommodation flag that bumped her to the front of the discretionary consideration pool, and apologized that no one had told her the option existed. Helen received a complimentary upgrade on her very next flight without asking. The flag had done the work for her. Now I want to give you the 5 habits that the most consistently well-seated senior travelers practice before they ever approach the gate. Because the scripts work in the moment, but preparation makes them effortless. Habit 1 is to arrive at the gate at least 40 minutes before boarding. The discretionary upgrade window opens and closes in that period. A passenger who arrives at 31 minutes to departure has almost no window. A passenger who arrives at 42 minutes has the full window. Set your airport arrival time around this number, not around boarding time.